There's a certain kind of house that just looks wealthy without ever seeming like it's trying to impress you. No dramatic roofline, no endless mix of materials or trend-driven features. And yet somehow the moment you see it, it feels established, expensive, and deeply confident. In today's video on Homes Explained, we're going to look at the architectural styles that quietly signal wealth and why the truly wealthy architecture so often relies on restraint rather than spectacle. Historically, the homes associated with old money weren't designed to shock people. They were designed to communicate permanence, stability, taste, and status in a far more subtle way. And interestingly, many of those same homes still feel expensive today, even decades and centuries later. In fact, one of the biggest misconceptions in luxury architecture is that expensive homes are designed to stand out as much as possible, because many of the homes historically associated with generational wealth and elite institutions do the exact opposite. The architecture feels calmer, more restrained, and more permanent. Instead of relying on excess, these homes rely on proportion, materials, craftsmanship, and confidence. And that may be why they continue to age far better than homes that are larger, louder, and more trend-driven. The first style that quietly signals wealth is Georgian architecture and its broader classical influences. And what's interesting is that these homes rarely rely on dramatic features to feel expensive. In fact, they're surprisingly restrained, but that restraint is exactly the point. Georgian architecture is built around symmetry, proportion, and order. The windows are lined cleanly, the roof lines stay controlled, and decorative elements are used carefully rather than excessively. Everything feels balanced, intentional, and calm. Historically, that sense of order became strongly associated with wealth, education, and status. These were the architectural influences used for estate homes, universities, and government buildings, because classical architecture communicates permanence and stability. It feels established and timeless. Moving on, Neoclassical architecture takes those same Georgian principles and makes them feel far more monumental. This is the architecture of banks, museums, government buildings, and grand estates. Buildings designed to project permanence, authority, and power. And that's a big reason why neoclassical homes still feel so expensive today. The style draws heavily from ancient Greek and Roman architecture, which is why you'll see large columns, symmetrical facades, and very formal entrances. But unlike many modern luxury homes, the effect doesn't come from visual complexity. The sense of power comes from scale, proportion, and strong architectural forms. These homes are designed to feel solid and enduring. Long symmetrical forms, stone exteriors, and formal approaches create a strong sense of importance. And psychologically, that permanence reads as wealth because the architecture is connected to institutions, legacy, and history rather than trends. Another architectural style strongly associated with the old industrial wealth, especially in the Northeast, is Romanesque revival. And unlike Georgian or neoclassical architecture, which communicates through balance and restraint, Romanesque revival communicates wealth through sheer mass and permanence. These homes are heavy. We're talking thick stone walls, deep-set windows, towers, arches, and rough-faced masonry, which gave the architecture an almost fortress-like quality. The homes feel very grounded and immovable, which made them particularly appealing during the Gilded Age, when the wealthy industrialists wanted architecture that reflected power and legacy. Romanesque revival homes don't rely on glass walls or trendy materials. Instead, the wealth comes from craftsmanship, materials, and sheer physical presence. There's something psychologically powerful about architecture that feels like it could survive for centuries, which is why these homes still feel so tied to permanence, legacy, and established wealth today. Shingle-style homes, however, communicate wealth in a completely different way. Whereas neoclassical and Romanesque homes felt very formal and monumental, shingle-style homes feel relaxed, informal, and completely understated, but still undeniably expensive. The style became closely associated with wealthy East Coast summer communities in places like Newport, the Hamptons, and coastal New England during the late 1800s. These were large homes for affluent families, but the architecture deliberately softened the scale through asymmetrical forms, natural materials, and flowing roof lines. Instead of dramatic ornamentation, the homes were wrapped in continuous wood shingles, which made everything feel cohesive and restrained. Large porches, grouped windows, and sprawling layouts helped the home feel connected to the landscape rather than just imposed upon it. And that's partly why the shingle style still feels tied to old money today. The architecture just doesn't try too hard. Even when these homes are enormous, they rarely feel flashy in the way that many modern luxury homes do. And finally, the last architectural style I'm profiling today, which quietly signals wealth, is the restrained, French-inspired limestone estate, particularly the kind of home influenced by French classical architecture rather than the overly ornate chateau style. These homes rely on symmetry, proportion, and materials rather than decoration. Pale limestone facades, tall windows, slate roofs, and formal landscaping create an overall feeling of elegance and permanence without excessive visual noise. And what makes these homes feel expensive is often how controlled everything is. The colour palette is muted, the detailing is refined rather than dramatic. Even the landscaping feels structured and intentional, with gravel drives, neatly clipped hedges, and balanced compositions reinforcing the architecture. Like many old money styles, these homes feel calm, established, and timeless rather than chasing trends or demanding attention. If you step back and take a look at these homes together, a pattern starts to emerge. The architecture rarely relies on spectacle or complexity to feel expensive. Instead, these homes prioritize proportion, materials, craftsmanship, and permanence. Historically, many of the homes associated with established wealth actually did the opposite of what modern luxury homes do today. The materials were cohesive, the colour palettes were controlled, and the homes weren't trying to overwhelm you visually. Instead, the proportions and the composition did most of the work. And psychologically, that restraint reads as sophistication because the architecture feels secure in itself rather than desperate to impress. And that may be why so many of these homes feel expensive centuries later, while trend-driven luxury can start to feel dated surprisingly quickly. Truly wealthy architecture doesn't shout, only whispers. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you found this useful. If so, please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next week for more Homes Explained.